What is going on, guys? Jack here, and today I've got for you guys another episode of the Rise to Glory here with Gibraltar Apex. It's episode number 16. And wow, we've got a big game today. We are taking on Manchester 62 FC, a team who we have met in a fair few live comms over our first few seasons in charge. And today, we have perhaps our most important game against them yet. However, since the last episode, which was, of course, against Glasgow United, we have played some games. If you missed that episode, as always, go check it out. And yeah, as you guys can see here, 6 games played in total, 5 in the league, 1 in the cup. We'll start with the 1 in the cup. It was the first game following on from that Glasgow defeat, and we lost. And we lost somewhat harshly against College Europa. They had 2 shots on goal. They scored 1 of the 2 shots they had. We didn't do a lot, even with, the superior amount of shots we had. We didn't convert. And ultimately, if you don't score, you don't win. And that was exactly what happened there. We lost 1-0. However, off the back of that result, we got a nice little steady 2-1 win. This one against St. Joseph's, a team who were kind of competing with us in the league. They were kind of in 3rd or 4th place at the time of this meeting. A good win, Sanchez Rule and Ben Connolly with the goals. And from there, we went kind of from strength to strength, I guess. The next game, we found our shooting boots. We scored 8, yes, 8 against Gibraltar United. Not a game that, to be honest, I can stand up and say we deserve to score 8 and we deserve to win. We were just incredibly clinical in this game. We had 9 shots on target, 8 of them went in. You look at these 2 stats. Gibraltar United had slightly more possession, had more shots. And they did have opportunities to score more than the 4 they got, but they just didn't take them. And in the end, an 8-4 result perhaps doesn't tell the full story, but nevertheless, a very, very pleasing result. Anyway, the next game was, of course, against Europa Points, as you guys can see here. We won this game 5-0. Again, big scoring game. Anthony Hernandez, a big player for us in this match. The young Gibraltarian who, of course, started his career at Middlesbrough. He's done pretty well for us so far. This year, 6 goals, 5 assists. He's kind of got half the stats he got last year. In 11 games last year, he played 27 games and got double the amount of goals and double the amount of assists. Hopefully, he can keep up the pace that he's been setting this year, I guess, for the rest of the year. Anyway, the next game, a 2-0 win against Lynx FC. Just a good result. Nice clean sheet. We've not had a ton of those. We got 2 in a row there, but we didn't keep that up as we beat Britannia 4-2. Of course, a pretty memorable game against Britannia last season where we scored 9 against them in a live com. This time Ben Connolly getting the Man of the Match award. He got 2 assists and a goal to his name, and the young Gibraltarian in this kind of little run of fixtures has just been absolutely superb for us. I really, I can't quite put it into words. He's become our top goal scorer at the club following these games. You can see in the Gibraltar United one, I didn't mention it, but he scored 4 goals in that one game. Against St. Joseph's, he got 1. Against Europa Point, he got a brace. Against Lynx, he didn't actually get 1. And then, as I mentioned, against Britannia, he did get that goal and the 2 assists. So he's been a great, great player for us so far. Anyway, in terms of the kind of rest of the team and kind of big performers, to be honest, it's been good kind of team performances all the way around. Connolly and Hernandez really have led the way, but Tristan Sargent, a player definitely worth giving a little nod to. The 21-year-old has become a regular in the Gibraltar national team, and for us, he's obviously been a regular since the start. You can see a 7.66 average rating for him, just 12 games this year, got 2 assists already. Would be nice if he could get a few more goals to add to his kind of stats. Obviously a fantastic year last year where he averaged an 8.1 in the league. He's not quite up to that standards this year, but to be fair, I didn't really expect him to be. It was a standout season, and it's good to see him do fairly well. Kadrian Drummy, another player who's done well, a player who, at the start of last season, was kind of our 3rd choice winger, and I guess to an extent he kind of still is. He's only played 10 Primera games starting. He's also made 1 sub-appearance, but he's done well for us. 3 goals, 3 assists, 2 player of the matches. Last year really didn't have an amazing season. This year he's kind of forced himself into contention, and well, if he continues to perform as he has, there's no reason why he won't be in the first team kind of more frequently throughout the year. Anyway, in terms of the goals, you can see here, Ben Connolly leading the way. Sanchez Rule is injured at the moment, but he has got 8 goals to his name in 13 games. And speaking of injuries, there are a few to tell you guys about. For this game, we are going to be pretty short at the centre-back position, unfortunately. Both Ballester, who joined us at the start of the season and has since signed a contract extension, as well as Guerrero, are out injured. They're not out kind of super long-term, but they will be missing today's fairly big game. We obviously have Leguia, who's out with his kind of viral infection, 4 to 5 months still on that injury. And we also have Jose Maria Sanchez Rul, who's out with his twisted ankle. He's been out for a little while now. I'm looking forward to having this guy back. He is a very good striker for us. And yeah, he is doing pretty well. So anyway, that's kind of what's been going on. In terms of our team for today's game, Lee Fenley is going to come in at centre-back. Danny G, I think, is going to start striker. You will see myself, of course, my regen in the game. He's actually played a few games for us. He hasn't scored yet, but I'm keeping the faith. He's on the bench with the kind of current striker situation. He's in line to perhaps get an appearance on off the bench if need be. I want to score at least one goal for Gibraltar Apex. That's kind of the dream, I guess. Maybe we can do that this episode, who knows. Anyway, I didn't really show you the league table, but just so you guys can see it, obviously we've been in some really fine form, 5 wins in a row. We currently sit 3 points ahead of Gibraltar Apex. It's also worth noting, of course, that we have really, really good goal difference, a plus 20 goal difference, which really is testament to some of the big games and big wins we've got of late. That only defeat of the season, of course, coming against Glasses last livecom, who themselves have dropped somewhat off the pace recently. They've had a few defeats. They are on 24 points, the same as Manchester 62, but they have played a game more. So a win here could be really good for us. And yeah, it'd be a good way, you know, after 13 games played, to go 6 points top of the table to, I guess, mark what is almost the halfway point in the season. So anyway, let's get into today's game. It's against Manchester 62. As I mentioned, we've had some pretty big games against this team over the years. I'm hoping for another fairly big one, hopefully a fairly decent result against them today. This is the team we're going to go with. You will notice that Hernandez, who last year really frequently played as a right midfielder, is currently playing as centre mid for me. It's something that I've kind of been experimenting with. I've been dabbling with it. It allows Kadri and Drimmy to play out on the wing and not start as kind of our third choice winger. And as you can see, if we look at it here, he's played 8 games out on the right, but as I mentioned, he is slowly but surely kind of adapting to this centre mid role. Definitely doesn't have the same level of impact there, but it's all about finding a balance, I guess, in our side. But anyway, let's submit our team for today's game. No tactical changes have really gone on since kind of last season, really. In fact, yeah, with the exception of the centre mid role change, I don't think it's really changed much since the kind of first season in charge. We've been sticking with this 4-4-2. It's been working for us fairly well. Today we are going to be going up against Manchester 62. They are playing a narrow 4-3-3, so that's something we have got to be wary of. Hopefully we can counteract that and kind of outnumber them in the midfield, but their 3 strikers is going to be pretty terrifying for us to try and deal with, so we'll have to see how we get on here. But anyway, Manchester 62, they are in second in the league. Not going to be easy, but we do want to bounce back. Last livecom, the 1st of 2016, we kind of slipped up, and I'm looking to hopefully put that to bed and get a good result here as Griffo is on the break. Can he whip in the ball? He can. Drimmy is there. Kadri and Drimmy, a man who I mentioned, has kind of forced his way into the team with a really quick goal there. 2 minutes in. And it's 1-0, and it's Griffo out on the left and Drimmy out on the right, linking up really nicely. Great to see our wider midfielders just working some magic. Griffo finds his way through on goal. There's loads of options in the middle. He just scoops it to the back post, and Drimmy, well, it's a tap-in, but he finishes it fairly nicely, and he adds to our goal tally, and we take a 1-0 lead here in this home game, and it's a massive game for us. After the Glasses result, I really don't want to lose anymore, particularly against teams like our rivals. If we win this game, that 6-point cushion is pretty huge, especially with the goal difference as well so heavily in our favour. In an ideal world, I'd like to see a really ruthless performance here. I'd like to see us, win 3 or 4-0. That would be the ideal scenario, hurt the Manchester goal difference as much as we can and extend our lead at the top. And, well, maybe we can do that here. Danny G out on the left. Can he whip in the ball? He can't. Baines is going to tackle and clear it up. And now we have that free striker situation we kind of mentioned to deal with. Although Fenley, who is our 4th choice centre-back, deals with the ball okay there. As I mentioned, with Guerrero and Ballista out injured, we have got Fenley kind of coming into the side. He's perhaps more of a centre mid, but we're going to see what he can do here. He is very much a centre back at heart. He can play there, and he needs to play there, and he needs to deal with this ball as Giovanni is going to head it in, I believe. Far post, it goes in. Duran with the assist, and I don't know if that's Fenley's man to mark. I guess it might be. Roberts, it probably is Fenley's man, unfortunately. Just loses him for a second, and a looping header. Well, it barely squeezes in the post. I can't criticise the keeper too much, but it's disappointing in a game which, when you look at the stats we've done well in, we've slipped up here, although Fenley will deal with that. A free kick ricocheting off the woodwork, and we are being warned here. There are warning shots being fired our way, although maybe Ben Connolly can work some magic for us. The pacey striker holds up the ball, options on ahead. Reyes, the right back, looks inside to Hernandez, who now, what a goal this will be. What a goal that is. Please don't be offside. It's not offside. That was beautiful. What a ball that was by Reyes at right back. The interplay was lovely here, finding some space, crafting an opportunity, and Reyes, he just pings it to the back post, and Griffo, the left mid, he wanders up their field, he goes on the prowl, and he finds a back post goal for us, and that is really what we've been doing with this system, and we are now 2-1 up. If we could get another now before half-time, that would be amazing, although I'd much rather just kind of, shut up shop and not concede here, as Manchester are going to have the ball. They're bringing it forward, although Hernandez, the former Manchester 62 man, trying to put in a tackle, cannot do it, however. Now the ball out wide to Beer. He looks a little bit drunk on the touchline, but can he whip in a good ball? He'll pass it inside instead. Nicely dealt with, but we do need to deal with the second ball. And now Duran on the right. The goal before coming down the right-hand side, and it's come down the right again. Jackson with a really nice goal there, a regen. Ben Jackson places it in the bottom corner, and it's questionable again by Fenley, although it's difficult to criticise him just because of the whole free striker situation I mentioned before. He kind of just had two men and he had to go to one or the other. In an ideal world, I would have liked to see him, drop that little bit deeper, kind of cover off both passes instead of trying to man-mark one of them. But anyway, at half-time, I'm going to tell the players I'm not happy. Danny G and Fenley struggling a little bit. I might take Fenley off, although now that I think about it, I don't think I have a centre-back. Or do I? No, I don't. With all the... I could bring Reyes in. I can't, though, because I've not got a right back to bring on. We'll stick with the team for now. It's a little bit of an odd predicament to be in, because I only have I have 5 centre-backs in the squad, but one of them is Reyes. And we don't really have an alternative to Reyes at right back, who isn't Roberts, who's already playing centre-back. It's weird. It's perhaps an issue with our team, the fact we don't have that cover at centre-back with the 2 injuries, although it's a little bit of a freak situation to be in, I guess, a situation where 2 centre-backs are injured and you need a 5th one to bring on. Kind of if I was a bigger club, I'd have that young, kind of really talented, up-and-coming centre-back kind of ready and raring in the ranks, but we don't have that, and now we need to defend, and wow, that is an insane goal by Kevin D'Souza. We'll go with that. D'Souza with the goal. That was a really nice finish. Ball over the top, though. And I think he just... Well, he levers it. Bang. Pick that out. I mean, the keeper can't do a lot there. The centre-backs, they've done okay. They've stood him up. They've not let him, get clean through on goal. But at the end of the day, he gets away a shot without being kind of closed down. And it's cost us. And I mean... I want to feel a little bit hard done by looking at the stats, but simply put, we've not been good enough so far this game. I'm going to make some changes to try and make amends for what we can here. I'm going to take off Danny G and bring on Danny B, just in midfield to get some fresh legs there. What do I want to do at centre-back? That's kind of the next question I've got to ask myself. Is there something we can do here? I could play Gilbert as centre-back. He's really not a centre-back, but he can probably play there, and I might have to do it. I mean, I talked a bit about this. I think it was last episode where I kind of said I'm happy to play a player who suits a role even if their position isn't suited to it, and I think that's what we're going to have to do here. Glenn Gilbert's going to have to slot in centre-back even though he can't play there, and then we'll bring on Stephen Clark. I can't remember if I talked about Stephen Clark, but he's a player who I signed actually fairly recently, so I probably haven't talked about him, but he's just a nice little backup left back for us to have. 26 years old, Gibraltarian international, and that was kind of the reason I brought him in. He was a talented free agent who we could bring in. He could join immediately, and he just offers some nice competition for Glenn Gilbert here. So we'll do that change. Clark out at left back, keep an eye on him, although Connolly might have a chance here, and I'll tell you what, his lightning pace is what has got him that goal. That is an incredible goal to score. You really saw the 16 acceleration there. Not many players at this level just have that pace, and that is going to get Connolly a lot of goals. He sets off like a rocket. He somehow gets there. No one gets across, and he squeezes it in. I mean, you look at the stats. They've had 4 shots on target. We've only had 5, but for them to score 3, given how the game's gone, feels harsh. But we might have a set piece here, and it's going to be a penalty and a chance to make it 4-3 here. Who is taking the penalty? Who is number 3? Okay, it's Reyes, our right back. Go on, Reyes. Bang. Oh, he's hit the crossbar. Wow. Wow, that could be a momentum changer again. That was a chance to go ahead in this game for the first time in a little while. We've been pegged back twice. We've gone behind. We've pegged it back ourselves. And at 3-3, that could be the momentum shifter. Reyes just hits it onto the crossbar. Granted, none of our strikers are great penalty takers, really. Reyes isn't a bad one, though. And that's disappointing. And now Reyes needs to switch on. He is the right back. He should be there cutting out that cross, and he wasn't. Although Griffo will pump it up to Connolly, who has the pace I mentioned before. Can he get through? It's a save by Sabari. And I think it was an important tackle that was actually put in the end. And with not long left of this game, I'd probably take a draw, but at the same time, we had a chance to win it from the penalty spot. We've been the better team in this game. And it just feels a little bit perhaps unjust. There's been a few of these results this year. Some have been even worse than this one, where we've had the one shot against us, conceded and drawn 1-1. A 3-3 draw here. It's not the worst result in the world by any means. We kind of maintain the gap at the top of the table and our goal difference doesn't hurt. But at the same time, you look at that game, that was a game that we really, really could have won. And that makes it disappointing. But I guess a silver lining to this all is that we did keep our goal scoring run going, which is nice. 3 goals there. If we can continue to score 3 or 4 goals against some of the best teams in Gibraltar, we're going to win some games. Anyway, for next episode, I don't know when I'll be back. That Glasgow United game is fairly soon, but I don't want to do too many episodes too close together. Worth noting, actually, College Europa and Lincoln Redimps both sacked their managers. If we look at their managers, you can see here that well, Europa Point here, or sorry, College Europa, they've got through a lot of managers. Granted, we've got a few caretakers here, but Cabrera, the most recent manager to be sacked, he was only appointed in March of last year with us top of the table and them struggling. And, since then, he's gone. And then the other managerial change was actually at Lincoln Redimps. They made a sacking. And Lincoln Redimps, I'll show you them in a second, they are struggling a lot. But you can see here, Kieran Ullman actually got sacked after a year in charge. And currently in charge is Albert Parody. But anyway, I'll just show you the league table real quick so you can see the situation. I mentioned Lincoln Redimps. I mentioned at the start of the save they are a dominant team. Right now they are rock bottom on 4 points. They are very much doing the Aston Villa. They've yet to win a game. 12 games in. That's got to be worrying for them. At the other side of the table, we're doing well. Glasgow United and Manchester 62 looking like our big rivals at the top of the table when you look at the points. Gibraltar United in 4th, the team who we beat 8-4. So that's a little bit strange. And then the rest of the pack trail some way off the pace and probably aren't going to be title challengers realistically this year. Anyway, guys, that's going to wrap up everything from me. 14 games left of the season. We're top of the league still. Still only lost that one game. Disappointing a little bit in this live com, but nevertheless it could have gone a lot worse. As always, if you've enjoyed this video, please do smash the like button, really do appreciate it. If you're new here, subscribe. If you've got any comments about this save, leave them down below. And other than that, it is me, Jack, and I'll talk to you guys in a bit. I'm out.